Hello everyone, this is Geopolitics, and today we have an issue that concerns everyone. It is about climate change. This issue concerns everybody who is living around the world because everybody is breathing the air and everybody is eating from our world production or agriculture, from the sea, fish, everything that we eat is driven by climate change. Even the politics that we talk about is also about climate change, because if the countries are no longer existing, we won't have politicians, we won't have people. So that's why this issue is very important for everyone, and that's why we have decided to talk about it as Geopolitics focuses on everything. I told you that politics is in everything. Is at home, is at school, is on the road, is at work, is everywhere. So politics begins home, because the rules that you have in your house, these rules are politically motivated. And even the rules on the road, even at school, the rules at school. Everything that you see on TV and on broadcasting, everything and everywhere you go is about politics. And if someone tells you that they don't like politics, or they are not concerned about politics, they're lying, because they themselves are involved in politics, because everything that you talk about is a political thing. So let's dive in our topic today, which is the climate change. Let's see how it is affecting our lives, and see the wealthy nations, what they are doing in order to address this issue. Thank you for joining, and let's see what is happening. The climate change situation continues to be a major global concern, with data and events from 2025 reinforcing the long-term human-driven warming trend. Global temperature and trends. Record breaking heat continues. 2025 was the warmest year on record, and 2025 is on track to be either the second or the third warmest. This follows a trend where the 10 warmest years have all occurred in the last decade, 2015 and 2024. Accelerated warming. The rate of warming since 1982 has been more than 3 times as fast as the average rate since 1850, exceeding the key thresholds. While the long-term warming average over decades remains below the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold, there is a high likelihood 86 chance that at least one of the next 5 years will individually exceed the level. The 5-year average warming for 2025-2029 is also expected to be more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, a significant increase from previous forecasts. Fossil fuel emissions. Greenhouse gas levels, particularly carbon dioxide, CO2, have surged to new records, with concentrations now at their highest in 650 years. This increase is primarily driven by human activities like the burning of fossil fuels. Key indicators and impacts. Ocean warming and sea levels rise. Ocean temperatures are at highest on record, and the oceans have also absorbed over 90% of the excess heat from global warming. This is contributing to a higher rate of sea level rise, which is threatening coastal communities and small island nations. Ice loss. Earth's polar ice sheets are losing mass at an accelerated rate, and the decline of Arctic sea ice continues, creating a feedback loop where less reflective ice amplifies warming. Extreme weather events. The year 2025 has already seen a number of devastating and climate change intensified extreme weather events, including European heat waves. A significant and deadly heat wave has been ongoing since May, with record-breaking temperatures in many countries. flooding. Severe floods have caused significant loss of life in Pakistan and India, with monsoon rainfall intensified by climate change. Other major floods have occurred in Bolivia, Central Texas, and other parts of the world. Wildfires. Wildfires have been a major issue in North America, Canada, and the US, and Europe. Example: Spain, Turkey, with a record-breaking fire in Colorado. Tropical storms. Hurricane Erin has intensified to a very powerful Category 5 storm, and other tropical storms have caused deaths and destruction. Human and economic impact. Health and mortality. The World Health Organization (WHO) projects that between 2030 and 2050, climate change could cause hundreds of thousands of additional deaths per year from heat stress, malnutrition, disease, economic costs. The direct costs to health alone are estimated to billions of dollars per year. By 2030, extreme weather events continue to cause massive economic and social upheaval. Displacement. Rising sea levels and prolonged droughts are already forcing communities to relocate, and the number of people displaced by weather-related events expected to rise. Now let's see the nations, especially the wealthy nations, what they are doing in order to solve this issue or to cool it down, because this is a very difficult topic and very hard issue for the people living on Earth, especially the human beings. Animals also feel this, even vegetables feel this, because we all want to live in a good health and breathe a good air. But if the climate change impacts that air that we breathe all, so we are all going to die. So that's why it's very interesting thing and an interesting issue for everyone, especially those who are living on Earth. Let's see, the wealthy nations are taking various actions to address climate change, primarily through two main avenues: domestic policy, international finance. However, these efforts are often criticized for not being sufficient to meet global climate goals. Domestic policies and investments. Wealthy nations are focusing on reducing their own emissions and transitioning to a clean energy economy. This is done through a mix of policies and significant financial investments. Renewable energy. Developed economies, along with China, account for the vast majority of global investment in clean energy. In fact, for every $1 spent on fossil fuels, approximately 1.7 is now being spent on clean energy. Solar power has become a leading focus, with more than $1 billion per day being invested globally. Net zero pledges. Most wealthy nations have set ambitious net zero emissions targets, aiming to balance the amount of greenhouse gas they emit with the amount they remove from the atmosphere by a certain date, often 2050. Infrastructure and technology. Governments are investing in upgrading electrical grids, developing battery storage, and promoting clean technologies like electric vehicles and heat pumps. International climate finance. A key part of the global climate effort is the commitment of wealthy nations to help developing countries, which are often the most vulnerable to climate impact but have contributed least to the problem. The 100 billion goal at the 2009 UN Climate Conference COP15, developed countries pledged to collectively mobilize 100 billion a year in climate finance for developing countries by 2020. This goal was officially met for the first time in 2022. New financial targets. At COP 29, a new collective quantified goal for climate finance was agreed upon, setting a new target of at least 300 billion per year by 2030, with the aim of scaling up finance to over 1.3 trillion annually by the same year. Criticism. Despite these pledges, there is significant criticism. Many developing nations and climate advocacy groups are arguing that the commitments are still too small compared to their needs, and that much of the promised finance comes in the form of loans rather than grants, creating debt burdens. They also point out that wealthy nations historically emissions make them disproportionately responsible for the crisis. They should be doing more than provide grant-based funding for adaptation and loss and image for climate-related disasters. Thank you, everybody. This was climate change, and that is today's subject. We want this issue to be resolved or to be treated seriously, because it concerns our politics and our health, our life, everything, even the water we drink. First of all, water is life, and if the sea levels are rising, it means we are losing land, we are losing water, we are losing everything that we own. Thank you, everybody. Have a great time, and thank you. Geopolitics welcomes you. I'll be coming with topics that touch the world every day. Thank you. Have a great time, everybody.